As Ethan leaps from the room, Sora is awestruck by his confidence, wondering why that attitude feels so familiar. Ethan lands on Ariam's bed, alarming the nurses who urge him not to do anything reckless. He apologizes to Ariam for waking her, but it will only be for a short while. Lifting her into his arms, Ethan prepares to jump as the nurses scream at him, reminding him that they are on the 10th floor. But he doesn't care. He leaps from the building. He lands unscathed on a car, startling a biker who was just passing by. Immediately after, he throws the biker off his vehicle, instructing him to call his number for compensation. Ethan starts the bike and speeds toward the underwater dungeon. Elsewhere in the city, a mysterious man tends to his plants on a terrace. Sensing someone approaching in a wheelchair, he sighs and reminds his visitor that he is currently on break. The visitor turns out to be Yomtong, who seeks the man's help in eliminating Ethan. But as he begins explaining what happened to his safe, he is abruptly cut off. The enigmatic man remarks that his rates double when his services are requested during his downtime. It is revealed that they are inside one of the Taeguk Guild's buildings. Yomtong attempts to negotiate, but a single glance from the man silences him, prompting an immediate apology for his disrespectful tone. Just then, the man receives a call. On the other end, his subordinates report complications at the entrance of the underwater dungeon. They have all been left battered on the beach, all 30 of them. They describe how a random man carrying a woman forced his way through the portal. Standing before the entrance of the double S-rank dungeon, one of the workers remarks how odd it was that the intruder had compelled every healer to channel their energy into the woman, exhausting them completely. Yet they still couldn't heal her. They describe him as a red-haired man in his 30s. Upon hearing this, Yomtong immediately confirms that it must be the same person who humiliated him. This piques the mysterious man's interest, and he decides to summon one of his top operatives, Creed. Yomtong is left in shock, unable to believe that Taeguk, the enigmatic figure before him, has such deep ties with the player union. Taeguk provides Creed with the target's details, a red-haired man located in the underwater dungeon off the coast of Incheon. Creed, in the middle of a battlefield, casually answers the call. Despite being attacked from all sides, he remains unfazed, effortlessly eliminating his adversaries without breaking a sweat. Given that Taeguk assigned him a task without prior notice, it must be something serious. Creed, ranked as the #1 assassin, is now intrigued by his red-haired target. Meanwhile, deep within the underwater dungeon, a colossal lobster launches an attack on Ethan and Ariam, who, now revitalized by the healer's energy, is finally able to stand. Ariam recoils at the monstrous creature, while Ethan simply muses that it would make a great meal. The lobster's massive claw descends upon them, and Ariam clings to Ethan in terror, screaming. But Ethan doesn't flinch. He lifts the beast as if it weighs nothing and hurls it against a wall, killing it instantly. Ariam stares in astonishment and praises him, while Ethan, blushing, reminds her that she can let go of his arm. Flustered, Ariam releases him, realizing she had been so scared that she hadn't noticed the situation. As they continue deeper into the dungeon, Ethan notes that they are nearing the boss chamber. Ariam then mentions that she overheard him whispering about how strange it was for her to be so frightened, and asks him what kind of person she was in the past. Ethan reveals that she was one of the bravest warriors, constantly risking her life to protect others. She reflects on the lengths Ethan has gone to for her, and after hearing about her forgotten past, pieces everything together. With a smile, she concludes that it must be because Ethan likes her. He begins trembling and sweating cold, unsure of how to respond. He certainly likes her, but was so caught off guard by her direct approach that his mind is now blank. He attempts to change the subject immediately, diverting attention to a random crab. He starts mumbling about how peculiar that crab is because it emits light when pressure is applied to its shell. Upon receiving no reaction from Ariam, Ethan turns, only to realize that she has lost consciousness. He rushes to her, pleading for her to stay with him. After a while, she regains consciousness. She appears extremely frail and exhausted, wondering what kind of assistance she can provide in such a state. While standing before the boss room, Ethan reassures her that she'll recover in no time. He hands her a lightning short sword, a rare weapon with extra damage against aquatic monsters and with a 5% chance of activating the ability Chain Lightning. She takes it but isn't sure why, as she doesn't feel inclined to fight with it. However, Ethan tells her that she must defeat the boss. Ethan declares that she must slay the double S monster all by herself. This leaves her speechless, unsure if he's joking with her. She yells, reminding him how terrified she was of just a shrimp. She can't even begin to imagine how formidable the double S monster must be, let alone defeat it. Ethan remains impassive, stating that it's the only way and that they're running out of time. She must know that better than anyone. Ethan reveals that the reward for clearing the dungeon is the Memories of the Deep, an elixir capable of curing everything, even curses inflicted by gods. Unfortunately, it's an item that cannot be transferred, so Arya must defeat the boss alone. She insists once more that it's impossible for a beginner to overcome a double S monster. Ethan corrects her. It's not impossible, just difficult, since he knows Ariam has a 1% chance of success. And not only that, he'll be right beside her, guiding her throughout the battle. Ethan assures her that 1% is nowhere near low. After all, he's the master of winning bets. She only needs to trust him. She decides to put her faith in Ethan, and he reminds her to carefully follow each of his instructions. Ariam places her hand on the door of the Witch of the Deep chamber and opens it, marking her as the challenger. Upon entering the room, they notice the floor covered in grotesque eggs and a throne at the center. A mysterious presence begins speaking, unimpressed that only 2 people came to see her. She's Octanash, the double S boss of the underwater dungeon. As the battle begins, she calls her sisters, awakening the 3 of them from their slumber. A pufferfish, urchin, and eel girl emerge from the eggs, wielding their weapons. Ethan instructs her to stay behind him during the first phase of the fight. The 3 sisters unleash their attacks. To summon the hidden boss, the first condition is to be struck by 3 attacks simultaneously. The attacks collide, fulfilling the first requirement and engulfing the room in smoke. Ariam is bewildered. So far, the battle is proceeding according to Ethan's predictions, but it still seems incredibly perilous. As the smoke begins to dissipate, Ethan appears unscathed, merely commenting that the attack was as irritating as an itch. The 3 sisters start panicking at the realization that someone withstood their combined assault. Now, it's time to fulfill the second requirement. He must defeat each sister with a single strike. The sisters collapse unconscious while Ethan stands triumphant, with only one condition remaining. And now, the third requirement is revealed. He simply needs to remain motionless after defeating the 3 sisters. One of the sisters sheds her final tears, pleading with her youngest sibling to avenge them. The tears fall upon a concealed egg, causing it to quiver while releasing a dark aura. The egg finally hatches, unveiling a muscular creature with razor-sharp teeth akin to a shark's. She is Sugarplum, the youngest sister and an S-rank killer whale girl who bears no resemblance to her siblings. Ethan recognizes that she's far more formidable than the others, but the experience she grants is 20 times greater than her sisters. Sugarplum charges forward, ready to unleash a devastating punch. The impact obliterates everything around it. Ethan leaps while holding Ariam, effortlessly evading the attack. He begins taunting her, claiming that he knows the truth behind her birth, piquing the beast's curiosity. Ethan tells her that she was adopted as an egg, and that she should already suspect it. After all, she's the only unattractive one in the family. Sugarplum lunges again, shouting that her parents told her she would become as beautiful as her sisters once she matured. She throws punch after punch, calling him a liar and attempting to silence him. But no matter how many times she strikes, Ethan effortlessly dodges. Ethan starts laughing because the moment to retaliate is approaching. He simply asks her about the blood on her hands. Sugarplum abruptly halts, noticing the crimson liquid coating and dripping from her arm. He questions whether that blood belongs to her family and friends. To twist the knife deeper, Ethan tells her that she slaughtered them all while grinning maniacally. Sugarplum begins wailing uncontrollably, realizing she crushed her own kin as if they were mere tomatoes. Suddenly, an attack slashes her throat. It was Ariam, who seized the opportunity to strike. She followed Ethan's plan as if he were a time traveler. She knew there would be a brief window to attack the monster's throat while it lamented. However, the creature leaps to retaliate against Ariam, who freezes in terror upon seeing that her attack didn't work. Suddenly, the wound on the monster starts discharging immense electricity, revealing that the special effect of the sword, Chain Lightning, has been activated. Sugarplum finally collapses, her body transforming into data that eventually dissipates. A massive surge of experience causes Ariam to level up continuously, reaching level 40. She even unlocks a class change, acquiring her unique trait called Columbus. Upon checking her status window, Ariam can't believe how many new abilities she has, while Ethan is thrilled. They're finally ready for the ultimate battle. Octanash rises at last, stretching her body while commending them for making her stand. She gazes at them, declaring her intention to transform them into a merman and a mermaid so they can serve her in place of the girls they killed. After leveling up, Ethan asks Ariam if she's prepared to go all out, and she affirms. Now that she has a new trait, La Santa Maria of Columbus, she gains the ability to double her damage output if the battle takes place near water, and since they are underwater, the effect is permanent. Octanash begins charging pink energy in one of her arms as she decides who will be her first victim. She dashes toward them at full speed while Ethan shouts for Ariam to activate her special ability. She's ready, but she still doesn't know exactly how to use her skills. This becomes problematic as Octanash's attack is about to strike Ethan. With no buttons to press, she concentrates deeply on the ability she wants to trigger. For a moment, it seems to work, but then a window appears, indicating that there was an error. She failed to activate the ability. In an instant, Octonash pierces through Ethan's body, making him spit blood as Ariam wonders why, unlike in the game, she failed to use a newly acquired skill. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.